All right, the Class 10 math exam. I know for a lot of us, it feels like the final boss of the school year. But what if we thought about it differently? What if it wasn't a test, but a game? A game that has rules, different levels, and a very clear way to win. So let's dive in and build your ultimate game plan.
So, picture this. You're sitting in the exam hall, the clock's ticking, and this paper is staring back at you. How do you win? It's not just about knowing the formulas, right? It's about having a strategy. It's about how you walk out of there feeling like you've absolutely conquered it. And that is exactly what we're about to figure out.
And here it is. This is the challenge itself. For our explainer today, we're using a sample question paper, which is basically the map for the entire game. It's an 80-mark mission, and you've got just 3 hours to complete it. I know it looks a little intimidating, but trust me, once you understand the map, it gets a whole lot easier.
Okay, first things first. Before you can win any game, you have to know what you're up against. You've got to understand the battlefield. So let's break down the basic mission parameters.
Here's the grand prize. 80 points are on the table, just waiting for you to claim them. Think of every single question as a chance to rack up more points to level up your score.
And here's the catch, the time limit. 3 hours. That's 180 minutes to score those 80 marks. This means managing your time isn't just a suggestion, it is absolutely critical to your success. Every minute counts.
All right, we know our objective and we know our time limit. So what's next? Well, we have to learn the rules. I mean, trying to take this exam without reading the instructions is like trying to play a video game without knowing what the buttons do. You're just setting yourself up for failure. So, here are the core rules. You've got 38 questions, and yep, they're all compulsory. The paper is broken down into 5 different sections: A, B, C, D, and E. No calculators, so your mental math has to be sharp. And pay close attention to that last point. Internal choice. That's your secret weapon, a strategic advantage we'll talk more about in a bit. Now, let's look at where the points are. See this? Sections A and D are both worth 20 marks each. That's half the paper right there. But, and this is a big but, the kinds of questions in them are totally different. Understanding this chart is key because it tells you exactly where you need to focus your energy to get the highest possible score. Let's kick things off with Section A. I like to call this the rapid-fire round. The whole point here is to be quick, be accurate, and build up some serious momentum right from the start. It's super straightforward. 20 questions, and they're 1 mark each. A whole quarter of your total score is sitting right here in this first section. If you do well here, you don't just bank points, you build up the confidence you're going to need for the tougher questions later on. Now, you got to be ready for 2 different styles of questions in this section. First, you've got your 18 standard MCQs. But then, for the last 2, the game changes. You get these assertion reason questions. These are a bit trickier because they test not just what you know, but why you know it. So once you've blasted through Section A, it's time to shift gears. We're moving out of that fast-paced opening round and getting into the real meat of the paper. Sections B, C, and D are where you prove you've got serious problem-solving skills. And this just shows you the jump in difficulty perfectly. On the left, you see a quick 1-mark question from Section A, and on the right, a huge multi-step 5-mark proof from Section D. Your whole approach has to change. You're going from a sprint to a marathon. So here's how the climb works. Section B is worth 2 marks per question. Section C bumps it up to 3 marks. And then you hit the peak, Section D, where the big questions are worth 5 marks each. The takeaway here is so important. You have to give your time to the questions that are worth the most. A 5-mark question should get way more of your attention than a 2-mark one. Hey, remember that rule about internal choices, that secret weapon? This is where you get to use it. On some of the tougher questions, you'll see that or option. This is your moment to be strategic. If you're amazing at trigonometry but kind of struggle with geometry and you get a choice between the two, well, the decision is easy. Choose the one you know you can nail. And that brings us to the final level of the game, the boss battle, Section E. This part is different. It's not just random problems, it's story mode. You're given a whole case study and you have to apply what you know to a real-world situation. Just take a look at this carpooling example. You get a whole paragraph explaining a scenario, a diagram, all this context. And all the questions that come after are based on this one story. This whole section is designed to see if you can take your math skills out of the textbook and use them in the real world. So how do you beat this final boss?
Simple. Don't panic and follow these 4 steps. 1. Read the whole story first and just understand what's going on. 2. Figure out what math concept is at the heart of it all. Is this a coordinate geometry problem? Is it trigonometry? 3. Connect the numbers and data from the story to what the questions are actually asking. And 4. Just solve each little part one by one.
Whew. Okay, we have explored the entire map, we've analyzed every single section, and we've figured out how to tackle every type of challenge. So now let's put it all together. Let's make one final winning game plan.
This is it, your 5-step plan for victory. First, know the rules. Master them. Second, start fast with Section A. Get those easy points and build your confidence. Third, pace yourself through the middle sections. Give more time to the big-ticket questions. Fourth, decode those stories in Section E carefully, step by step. And finally, use those OR questions to play to your strengths.
So there you have it. The exam isn't some scary, unknown monster anymore. It's a game with a clear structure, with rules you now understand. You have the map, you have the strategy guide,